What animal can survive the most snake venom? At first, the answer sounds simple. Find the animal with the strongest resistance, and you have your winner. But venom resistance does not work like a scoreboard. Different animals resist different toxins in completely different ways. Some block venom before it reaches its target. Some change the receptors venom tries to attack. Others survive because their bodies can tolerate damage that would kill another animal. And a few species seem almost built for encounters with venomous snakes. So, which animal comes closest to being the ultimate venom survivor? To answer that, we have to look at some of nature's most famous venom-resistant animals. One of the best known is the mongoose. Mongooses are famous for fighting cobras. They are incredibly fast. That speed helps them dodge strikes before the fangs ever make contact. But speed is only part of the story. Some mongooses have changes in the receptors that certain snake neurotoxins normally attack. Those toxins are designed to attach to specific receptors involved in muscle control. If the toxin cannot bind properly, its effect becomes much weaker. That gives the mongoose an important advantage, but it does not make the mongoose invincible. A serious bite can still injure or kill one, and resistance to one venom does not guarantee protection against every snake species. Then there is the honey badger. Honey badgers have built a reputation for surviving encounters that would seem impossible. They attack snakes. They fight predators much larger than themselves, and they're extremely difficult to discourage. There are reports and observations of honey badgers recovering after bites from venomous snakes. But their resistance is not magic. Like mongooses, honey badgers appear to have changes in some of the receptors targeted by neurotoxic venom. A venom molecule may reach the body, but it may have a harder time attaching to the exact target it needs. That can reduce the effect. Again, reduced does not mean harmless. Enough venom can still overwhelm the animal. And then we get to an animal that may surprise you. The opossum. Certain possums have powerful venom resistance, but their strategy is different. Instead of mainly changing the receptor that venom attacks, possums can carry molecules in their blood that neutralize parts of the venom itself. These molecules can bind to venom components and make them less dangerous. That makes possums extremely interesting to scientists. Researchers have studied these natural molecules because they may help us understand new ways to neutralize venom. And in some cases, possums can resist venom doses that would be extremely dangerous to many other mammals. But there is another group that may be even more impressive. Certain ground squirrels and other rodents live in places where rattlesnakes are major predators. For them, venom resistance is not a rare advantage. It could be a matter of survival. Some populations have evolved blood proteins that bind to rattlesnake venom toxins. The fascinating part is that the strength of this resistance can change depending on where the animals live. In areas with more dangerous rattlesnakes, the rodents may develop stronger resistance, and the snakes can respond. Their venom can become more effective. The rodents become more resistant. The snakes change again. This creates an evolutionary arms race happening in real time. But there is still another contestant. The hedgehog. Hedgehogs have a long history of surviving bites and eating venomous animals. They can resist certain snake venoms better than many mammals. Their resistance appears to involve both blood factors and changes in the way toxins interact with their bodies. But just like the mongoose and honey badger, they are not immune to everything. A large enough dose can still be dangerous. So far, we have several strong candidates. The mongoose can reduce the effect of some neurotoxins. The honey badger has similar receptor-based defenses. The opossum can neutralize venom components in its blood. Some rodents evolve specific resistance to the snakes that hunt them, and hedgehogs have their own protective adaptations. So which one is strongest? The problem is that there is no single venom. A cobra's venom may attack the nervous system in one way. A rattlesnake's venom may damage blood and tissue in another. A viper may produce a completely different mixture. An animal that survives one venom extremely well may be far more vulnerable to another. That means asking which animal can survive the most venom depends on the venom being tested. It also depends on the dose. A small dose and a massive dose are not the same challenge. Body size matters too. A larger animal can often tolerate more total venom simply because the dose is spread through a larger body. But that does not necessarily mean it has better biological resistance. This is why scientists often look at venom resistance relative to body weight. And even then, the answer is complicated. Another important factor is whether the venom enters the bloodstream, muscle tissue, or another part of the body. The same animal can react differently depending on how the venom is delivered. So there may never be one universal champion, but some animals stand out for very specific reasons. The mongoose is one of the most famous because its resistance is combined with incredible speed and behavior. It does not simply survive venom. It is also good at avoiding the bite in the first place. The honey badger combines resistance with toughness and body size. The opossum may be one of the most scientifically interesting because its blood contains molecules that directly neutralize venom components. And certain rodents may be some of the best examples of evolution adapting resistance to a very specific predator. But perhaps the strangest part is what this tells us about venom itself. Venom is not a perfect weapon. Every toxin creates pressure for another animal to evolve a defense. And every new defense creates pressure for venom to become more effective. Predator and prey keep changing each other. That process can continue for thousands or millions of generations. So the strongest venom-resistant animal today may not always stay ahead. Evolution never really stops. And this is why nature produces animals that seem almost impossible to kill with venom. They are not breaking the rules. They are the result of generations of survivors. So what animal can survive the most snake venom? There is no single answer for every venom. But mongooses, honey badgers, possums, hedgehogs, and certain rodents are all among the most impressive venom-resistant mammals on Earth. Each survives in a different way. And the most interesting one may be the animal whose blood can actually neutralize venom before it reaches its target. Because if scientists can understand exactly how that works, those natural defenses may one day help us build better treatments for snakebite.